and welcome back to another Storytime video. And today, with school starting right around the corner for several of you, if not, then it's already started, more than likely. I know when I was attending high school and stuff like that, I know that school for me would typically start the first week of August. And so I figure that now would be a very appropriate time for me to retell the story about my first day of high school. So, without further ado, let me get into it. So, I just want to say first off that it was quite the adjustment going to high school because I went from a small school where part of my 8th grade graduation class, there were 4 of us. And then when I was a freshman, there were like, oh geez, there were several hundred of us. And we're like 300? I mean, they said that, I think they said my freshman year that it was like the biggest freshman class that they had at that school in a long time. But before I get into talking about my first day, I just want to congratulate everybody from my class from my freshman class that did graduate a few years later as seniors. You guys are all awesome, and I hope you all are killing it out there in whatever field you chose to do. I am rooting for all of your guys' success. I really am, and I hope all of you succeed, and like I said, kill it in whatever career or job you chose to, or whatever you chose to do after high school. I just hope that you guys are excelling in that. But yes, so the adjustment going from a small school to a very big school is one of the main things that I like to highlight when I talk about my first day of high school. Now, it was certainly a big difference and an adjustment for me, and something that I'm sure that I'm not the only one to have gone through it. Now, I was nervous about making friends, and I mean, it's funny looking back on it now, especially considering that I've graduated college and done all that stuff. I mean, last Storytime video, I talked about grilling in college. It was fun. Watch that video after this one if you haven't already. But, I was nervous and very anxious going to high school, and I think that was partly because of the big adjustment of so many more classmates and students that I would have, because the school that I went to for a large majority, well, for like practically all my schooling before that, it had such low attendance numbers that that school is no longer a school because they just ran out of money to fund it. And with other schools in the area popping up, then they just couldn't justify that school being a school anymore. So that school that I went to is no longer a school anymore. To give you perspective, I haven't really discussed in storytime videos that school is no longer a school, but it is not. And it does make me sad when I think that, but, as Dr. Seuss one time said, don't be sad because it's over. Be glad because it happened. And that situation is not the most applicable situation for that saying, but instead of being sad that the school is no longer a school, I am happy that I was able to go to that school and graduate from it, and then use that as a stepping stone to go to high school, and then use that to go to college, and then that to be able to have a career and do what I love. Now, in terms of my first day of high school, I was very nervous. One thing that you should know about me, and if you haven't met me before, then you probably don't know this about me, but until I get comfortable with you, then I am kind of shy and very, I don't say too much. I'm just too nervous to really say a whole lot. I mean, that's not to say that I feel uncomfortable around people, but whenever I open up, yeah, I definitely talk. You think I talk a lot here. Well, I talk about the same amount in my personal life, too. But, so I was shy, and I wasn't really saying anything. I mean, I was just observing what other people were doing. People kind of, being in high school now after being in middle school together, and some people who went to elementary school together, didn't go to middle school together, but now are going to the same high school because of zoning and parents moving, I guess, and all this other stuff. Then, they're happily reunited again and can see each other every day in high school. And so, but my classes I had a wellness class, which I'll get to in a minute, and what wellness is. But I had an English class, a math class, and to end the day, what did I have to end? No, okay, so I had a wellness, I had social studies, history. I had I think it was world history. But anyway, I loved that teacher that I had for history class that year. God, I loved him. And by the way, as a little sidetrack, that teacher of mine that I had for history, he used to come in to the local Mexican restaurant that I worked at while I was in high school. I didn't work there while I was attending his class, but he was still teaching at the high school when I graduated, and while I worked at the local Mexican restaurant. And so whenever my boss asked me to come in the middle of the week, he would be there with his wife and potentially another couple, friends of theirs. And it was great to talk to him and all that. And he was a regular at the Mexican restaurant, and I loved that. But, for some reason, I'm drawing a blank on the other classes that I had as a freshman, for some reason. I mean, I remember My spring semester classes a lot better than my fall classes for whatever reason. I don't know. I guess the spring semester happened. There hasn't been as much time that's passed after my spring semester as it did my fall semester. But and also because my physics class for science that I had my spring of my freshman year, oh god, that was fun. That was really fun. And as a matter of fact, at the time, that teacher lived just down the street from my parents. I kind of knew that while I was attending her class, but I really found that out after I attended her class. But anyway, so going back to wellness and all that. So wellness is basically PE, but with work and assignments and stuff like that. So I personally enjoyed wellness more than PE, but that might just be because I am the nerdy type, where I love school. I love to work on stuff. I love to learn stuff, whether it be in school or at my job or whatever. I just love to learn. Or jump down a rabbit hole and learn about some random stuff. It doesn't matter to me. So, for instance, we had a book with chapters and assessments in those chapters, just like, a normal. Well, I'm saying normal, like wellness is a weird class. Like any other class. And I remember at the end of each chapter, we had to write a paper, just a front side of paper though, about the chapter, whether it's something that we really learned or just something that related to the chapter. And that was fun because then it's like, okay, well, learned about the heart and all this other stuff. So it's like, okay, well, let me write a paper about the heart. And so it's like, okay, what can I write about this heart? Okay, so depending on how tall you are and how big you are as a person, your heart can beat faster or slower. And depending on how much physical exercise and how much you move around, your heart could beat that much more to provide blood to your body and just stuff like that. And so wellness had that work in it, but we only went down to the gym like 2.5 days of the week, 3 at most, but I think it was just 2. And I remember, I can't really remember if it's 2 or 3, because I think with that, I think there were a few times that with that paper that we had to write, then once we finished that and turned it in on my teacher's desk, then we could go down to the gym and do whatever else. And yeah, One day I need to talk about my high school Spanish class. It just occurred to me. I need to talk about that one day. But yeah, so I think that I remember talking about wellness class before when I've talked about my first day of high school, but I don't think I've really gone in depth with the wellness class. And really, one of the points in retelling a story is that there's times where I might not be able to remember every single detail or be able to cover every single detail of a story that I want to cover. And a retelling can tell different details or stuff that I missed or stuff that just I just didn't have time for or whatever. Or stuff where it's like, oh yeah, that happened. But yeah, so that will pretty much do it for me today. And so yes, guys, I do believe that that will do it for this storytime video and select storytime video. I will see you later. Goodbye, guys. Thank you all for watching.